Morning, everyone. Please come in if you're standing out. Thank you for the introduction. And I'd like to now call on our esteemed panelists on the stage. First, we'd have Mr. Sujit Jagirdar, former CEO and CIO of T-Hub. Sir, can you please take the stage? Please give him a rousing welcome. Then we have Soumik Nandy, Global Senior Vice President, Sales and Partnerships from WiZR. Hi, Soumik. Welcome. Good to see you. And then we have Shronit, Ladhani, founder and CEO of LearnTube. Hi, Shronit. Welcome. Please take a seat. Good morning, everyone. How are we all today? At least smile, sir. Can we start? Okay, let's start. How many of you have lost your jobs to AI? Not yet, okay. But you need to look over your shoulder because it's coming for you. Or you need to listen to this fantastic panel. They're going to tell you something meaningful today. Okay. So let's get into it. We have just 30 minutes and the clock is ticking. So our responses will be crisp, of course. We'll give you a chance to ask some questions at the end, time permitting. But let's get into the context setting first. Okay. India produces 10 million graduates a year, engineers, MBAs. Half of them are unemployable, okay, by HR standards. Who decides whether you're employable or not? Is it an algorithm? Is it a human being? I think algorithms are taking over now. Okay. But that has been the narrative for the longest time. And we have always blamed our education system. However, 2 or 3 years ago, with the onset of AI, things became a little bit more challenging. Okay? And these days also, people are being laid off because of AI. That's a very important concern for all of us. I have some other statistics here. According to the Indeed NASSCOM report, AI is rapidly reshaping jobs across industries, with 86% of employers reporting changes in roles and responsibilities. Employers are prioritizing AI-ready skills such as Gen AI, cloud integration, machine learning, Python, data analytics. Certifications and hands-on experience are becoming key hiring skills. The report also highlights rising demand for AI roles, increased internship hiring, and growing focus on continuous upskilling to build a future-ready workforce in India. And the other day I read in the Economic Times that companies are now looking at hiring mid-level and senior-level managers to manage their AI transformation. They want to be AI first and AI ready. So what happens to the other 44% of the graduates? Okay, that's very worrisome. And this panel, elite panel here, I'd like to introduce them first of all. So we have Shronit Ladhani. He's the founder of LearnTube. It's an AI-powered upskilling platform. It has reached millions of learners by turning open content into structured, job-oriented courses. And I hope to take some of your courses sometimes because I'm a fan of online learning.
Definitely. We'll make you a custom one.
So, Shronit, first, could you kindly tell our audience what you do and how you are changing these, how the skilling landscape is changing, how you're addressing that?
Sure. So LearnTube helps today's workforce get more successful. What that means is we've helped about 40 lakh plus people upgrade their skills, understand what they're great at, and showcase them to the world. But when we say workforce, we don't just mean humans anymore. We mean human plus agents. We help both upgrade their skills, and we've been building frontier models that help people build personalized courses since 2021 now.
Thank you so much. Okay, we move on to Soumik. Soumik Nandy runs sales and partnerships globally for WiZR. It's a skilling marketplace built to help learners and compare and finance courses. You also finance courses. I read somewhere that you're even paying learners to do courses on the website. I don't know, but if it was your website. But there are some platforms which are actually encouraging people and even paying them, incentivizing them to learn. So, Soumik, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you are doing?
Sure. So WiZR has two platforms. So we have a B2C and a B2B platform. The B2C platforms gives you a comparison of courses, and we also have embedded financing because we are an MDFC, so we can finance those courses as well. So that's simple, straightforward. The B2B one is very interesting because we are solving a very larger problem. So we have worked with corporates. They already have employees. They have a pain point. We try to solve that, and we try to give you them metrics to measure the solving by. It's not just a course you're doing. So this is an end-to-end AI platform which helps you increase your sales, helps you increase your productivity, helps you increase your service SLAs. So this has got a metric map to it. So we don't behave like an agency with the corporates. We work as somebody who actually are impacting their KRAs, their bottom line, the revenue metrics. That's a larger one which I feel is taking more traction right now. So this is what we do. Thanks.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Please pay people to take our courses also.
Okay, and on my far left, we have a gentleman who's going to bring in a little different perspective. He is Mr. Sujit Jagirdar. He's the former CEO and CIO of T Hub Foundation, and he was also with CEO of Zack Materials, right, India. And okay, so between all of us, we've got like about 45 years of experience, right? But sir, can you tell us what is it that you are looking for, like as an employer? How do you see things, and what have you been observing here in terms of the people who are joining the industry and so on?
So very good morning, Brian. In fact, two tough sessions. One is the session immediately after lunch. The one is the first session in the morning, especially when you have an inaugural happening right next door. So, but having said that, I see slowly audience building, so which is good. So, in terms of what employers are looking for, especially for youngsters who are coming into the market, right? I think if you look at it, those who are readily deployable, graduates into the corporate ecosystem. I mean, if you are looking for a job in the corporate world, is what employer would immediately look for. Gone are those days where people are taken in, 6 months of trainings happen, and then you have that luxury before you actually start becoming productive. I think you need to prepare yourself to get in and start engaging quickly. In fact, there is this interesting term called digital colleagues, right? Your ability to work with not just colleagues, physical colleagues, humans, but digital colleagues is also becoming very critical, meaning all these learning platforms that teach you how to become productive quickly should be kind of top of the mindset. So having an experience across manufacturing, technology, startup ecosystem, it gives a very different flavor altogether in terms of what each of these segments in the industry look for. Very different. Just a quick summary.
Okay, thank you. So now come back to the gentleman from the skilling side, Shronit and Soumik. Let's start with Soumik. Soumik, what have you been observing in the last 2 years in terms of what has changed? AI has kind of come in and upset the apple cart. Before it was a very structured way of moving from school, then you did your, your 11th and 12th, you did your graduation, probably did some diploma, maybe some MBA, and you got a job and you were settled. But now the whole game has changed. Okay, so what have you been observing in the last 2 years in terms of what is happening in the industry and also in terms of what the students are doing?
I'll take the industry component first. So in the B2B segment, all the corporates are looking for people like Sujit just said. They want people who are job ready, right? So proof of work. So when someone asks you to send you, wants to hire somebody or wants to open up a job forum or a job option, don't send them a CV. Send them your work, right? So we were hiring for a designer recently. So we spoke to 2-3 people and asked them, Ki chalo, okay, we like you, send some stuff over. So one guy sent his CV, one guy sent some videos, right? It's a clear demarcation. So you have to show proof of work. Nobody has the time to listen to you, look at you, hope that you will work out. So your unfair advantage today is you have all the tools available in the market. You are 10x already. Adopt it, use it, and move forward. On the corporate side, obviously, this is where people like you guys sitting in the room, already 1% of India, right? The other India, Bharat, where you are talking to people who are in lakhs of people, right? So insurance companies, frontline salespeople, Cipla, people working in the factories, Mahindra, people working in the showrooms selling cars. They don't have the privilege you guys have. They can't pay $20 to OpenAI, $20 for monthly subscriptions, right? So they haven't been able to do that. So the onus is on the corporate to make the guy ready. So the corporate therefore is looking at tools which 10x's their employees. So what we're seeing now is rapid adoption of AI in corporates. Not general adoption, specific adoptions with specific skills. So for example, I'll give you a simple example of insurance. There's a large company in Delhi, about 2 lakh people, frontline sales force, right? They did a pilot with us, 2 cohorts, one with our tool, one without our tool, 3-month pilot, 4 metrics, GWP, gross written premium, which is the business, how much money, right? Second metric, number of policies sold. Third metric, ARPU, average revenue per user. Fourth metric, adoption rate. Before they started this, the adoption rate on any new learning tool was 60 days. You give them a fire-ready tool, it's not mobile, it's not in their language, it's not interesting, they're not using it, you spend crores on it, but there's no ROI. Here, adoption, 50% adoption, 24 hours, 100% adoption, 7 days. In 3 months, 15% uplift in gross written premium, 2x number of policies sold, ARPU goes up by 20%. You don't need to sell anymore. You demonstrate it, the client will come to you and say, please give me your tool. So the idea right now is very simple. You have to show proof of work. Either from as an employee or as a service provider to the corporates, you have to show a demonstrable thing which is essentially showing you ROI on their key metrics, not just a tool.
Yeah. Now, coming back to you on that, there's this fear, and we see this in the airline industry especially, training for pilots. I track aviation. Tremendous amount of investment going into training pilots, crores of rupees. And then the pilot leaves. This used to happen earlier when we had 4 or 5 airlines in India. A lot of poaching happening. They would take the type rating for 737 or A350. You can't learn both, one or the other. And they would take that training and then go to another airline using the same type rating, Airbus. So they had to sign a bond to retain them. Now what happens here in the corporate space? You said the corporate would sponsor the education. And somebody would take this training and then, there's attrition again and go to another competitor. So how does you spoke about ROI and so on, that's fine. But there's a tremendous amount of investment going into this training. How does the corporate ensure that the person remains loyal and committed?
Luckily for us, the offline training, so you're coming from the lens of offline training. So you have a person involved, you're coming and you're taking a space, people have to travel for training, that becomes very, very expensive. This is peanuts. You pay nothing for a year. You pay pretty much $1,000, $2,000 for per person per year. Native language training on their language on their mobile.
1,000 rupees per seat, let's say.
1,000 rupees per seat per year.
Okay.
So with AI built in, and AI costs are dropping as we speak, right? So AI today costs X, but so AI may drop, may not drop, but just $2,000, $3,000 per year. It's nothing, right? So, and to answer your question, what happens if somebody leaves, right?
Yeah.
What if somebody does not leave? You're stuck with paying salary to somebody who's not good, and you can't sack the guy, right? So you'd rather have that churn fast, pick your team in the first 3 months, let the people go out. That's better. So you have better people, you churn up your people, and the cost of churning is very low. So that's, I think, is the differentiator, right?
So I'll revisit this point once more. I'll come back to Sujit because I'd like to have your perspective on it as well. So coming over to you, Shronit. Yeah. The pertinent question is it even relevant to do a degree anymore? I mean, why should we even go to college?
I think that's going to be the question of the decade for the education system, whether we should even go to college anymore. I don't think the degree is relevant to jobs. I think we've outpaced the degree. But I would yet say for now, yes, you should go to college. I think India is culturally trained to expect a degree more than for your job, for your marriage prospects, and for your neighbors' questions, right? I think the job you'll yet manage. The other stuff, I'm not sure. In India. So the easy answer is yes, but which college becomes the question. And I would say the college that gives you the most freedom. I would say the college that has zero attendance requirements. The college where you can work through the 4 years because that's going to be important. The college only matters for your peers, your alumni, your connections,
Okay.
and your social skills, so that you have a network to count on.
Okay, so we'll revisit this a little later. Going over to Sujit once again. From an employer's perspective, Sujit, you remember the times when we used to have 25-year career in one company. Everything taken care of, families taken care of, healthcare benefits. Those days are gone. Okay. Today, we see people changing jobs every 2 years, 3 years. So, from your perspective, what is the message you would like to send out to youngsters? Any 22-year-olds in this room? 22-year-olds, don't feel shy. Yeah. What is the message you would like to send to them? The whole dynamics of the job market has changed. What should they be anticipating? How should they be preparing for that? It's all like a shock for them. I have a 21-year-old daughter who just came back last night from her graduation in Ireland. She's very worried about, she's doing media and she's thinking about journalism, and I have been a journalist, so I gave her some good tips about what not to do and what to do. So what is your advice for them?
Again, it's a decadal question, Brian. See, one thing we have to realize is the era that our parents lived and what we have lived and what the youngsters at 20s are going through is going to be very different. You are absolutely right. One thing that will not happen is they having linear career paths. What changes then? If you don't have linear career path, which means that you start in a company and then progressively go to the next phase and next phase, what changes? In fact, again, there is a term being used that, career paths that they will see will have breaks. Progressively, you will have a 3-year career, then there's going to be a pause. Now, why the pause? Because there's a significant shift that will happen in the technologies that we are building today. The way the learning is going to happen. Now, at some point in time, you may be competing with a person with 5 years experience. If you are an youngster, you may be even competing with 15 years of experience as well. Because, when we recently announced a requirement, an opening, a fresher as well as a 7-year experienced person applied for the same job. skills were there, but somebody didn't have the necessary experience, the other guy had experience. How do you balance these things? So there is a term called portfolio careers. That's what is going to emerge.
Portfolio careers, remember that.
Right? Meaning that you have one career, a break, another career, a break. The problem is, how do youngsters prepare their minds for this change? So, because we are lack of time, so I'm quickly getting into what I thought could be a useful tips, if not an advice. Get mentors. Every youngster should have a mentor to support them. Mentor is not necessarily a professor or a teacher, but also a friend or a senior in the industry who can guide, coach. Now, why am I saying this? Having been in the startup industry, and these gentlemen have run startups, we all know how critical mentors play as a role in shaping somebody's minds. So, right kind of mentorship. Second is, your own seniors are in the industry, probably from the same college. Reach out to them, build networks, because many times when you are in isolation, you end up actually not knowing which direction to go. And honestly, parents may not be the best guide, because they also don't know. Probably they know lesser than what you know. So how do you overcome that issue? Third, I think you should build multiple competencies. Don't bank on single competency. We were talking about multiple jobs. I would say multiple competencies. Build those so that you are able to switch quickly. Your mindset should be to switch quickly. Corporates, I came from corporate world for long. They're not looking for loyalty anyway. So, while you build loyalty or whatever, but build those skills, competencies, that you can switch quickly.
Let me add, Brian, some more
please.
points.
Yeah.
2 points to add to what Sujit just said. Firstly, why do you go to college? In my mind, to build networks, to make friendships. Those 100 people, 200 people will go everywhere. You can make connects, you can ask for help, you can give help. You go to college, you go to undergrad, postgrad, just to build connects, not for the class, not for the teachers. Teachers might help you, but the people around you, your batch, that's your equity. IIT is IIT because of the batch, of the people, right? So whichever college you go to, make friends, make connects, make sure you stay in touch, make sure you help each other. First thing, that's why you go to college. You should go to college. Number two, to add to what he just said, that I think the chances of job definition is going to change. I would urge all of you, especially the young people, to think in a manner that, can I build something for 5,000 people who will pay me $1,000 a year? Can I, in my area, in Kandivali, in Borivali, in Bombay, can I build something which 10,000 people will use and pay $750 a year for? Think like that. Assuming that you'll go somewhere to a big building and someone will give you a job, I think if you are in that roadmap, you're going to have a very rude shock in the next 5, 7, 8, 10 years, because it's going to change rapidly. You have to become entrepreneurial. Think like that. See how can you position yourselves. Solve for small groups. Small groups, solve a point for housewives, elder care, pet care, only women in Kandivali, only women in South Bombay. Something which you can do and they will pay you something for it. Think like that.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll move on to the next phase of the discussion, which is about building this skilling playbook. Okay, so Shronit, I'd like to ask you, how do you build a practical reskilling playbook for a graduate who has limited time and limited capital to finance his, education, continual education?
That's a question we get asked often, right? So we've catered to about 40 plus lakh people. And everyone wants to know that one skill that will change their life, that will change their job. Today, people think that's learning AI. And unfortunately, when they think it's about learning AI, they think it's about learning to use an AI tool. Learning AI is about learning to think with AI, learning to work with AI. Whether you're using ChatGPT today or Claude tomorrow, or you're using, Cloud Code or whatever it is. But if there was one thing that I would suggest everyone to build as a capability in this new age of reskilling, is judgment. What do I build? How do I know how to build it right? And is it good enough? The building will be done by AI. But what is to be built is to be decided by the human, and is it good enough to go is to be decided by the human. And unfortunately, our entire education system has been designed to make you successful in the exact opposite. We've been made successful in following instructions, but we've never been made successful in thinking about what to do and thinking about how to do. You know, we get lesser marks when you skip a step in an answer in an exam paper. The end outcome matters. It doesn't matter which way you followed, right? So I think we need to learn to think for ourselves so that we can think with a machine, because even AI is learning how to use AI. That's what agents are.
Soumik, would you like to add to that? How do you build the reskilling clear?
I think Shronit said it bang on. So that, like whatever I was talking about, he just said that if you know what to build, you can build something over a weekend. It's ridiculous. The tools that you have today, you can build a prototype, a working prototype of an app over a weekend. I have done it. I am 45. If I can do it, you can do it in easy, right? It's that easy. You have enough tools, it costs, and you have free tools available. You have Replit, right? You have Cloud Code, you have all these things. $20 over a weekend, $20, 2,000 rupees over a weekend. 3 friends with an idea, play. I think Shronit has hit the nail on the head. All the young people should now go and build something, but what to build? Judgment that he mentioned is absolutely bang on. If you know what you want, there is no stopping you from building what you want to do. And the opportunities is absolutely immense. It was not available 5 years back, 3 years back. It's available now. And everybody is doing it globally. If you don't do it, you'll be left back. So the opportunity is now.
Okay, so now I'd like to give the audience a chance to ask questions. We can have some mics going around, please. Yeah, anyone has some questions here? This is a very experienced panel, about 45 years of experience. Please use this opportunity to ask them your questions. We can have some mics going around the room. Just raise your hands and just ask them. Yeah, feel free. Please introduce yourself and who are you directing the question at?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Gargi. I'm co-founder at LearnTube. I'm Shronit's co-founder. I wanted to ask Soumik, so you spoke about the fact that you need to prove your work, right? And you need to display your skills rather than talk about them. And you spoke about a B2B deal that you closed, right? But what I want to know for everybody, I'm sure, is what's the process? How do you get them to take the punt on their time of the pilot, which is 3 months? And I'm sure it was a paid one, right? So how do you get them to take a punt on you as a company versus anybody else that will also be pitching to them for AI readiness for their company in their time and in their money?
Excellent question.
So this is a sales and BD question. Sales questions are, so I have worked for 22 years. It took me 8 months to close the client, right? If you're younger, it may take you longer. You just keep at it. Sales is very simple. People may know, may not know. Large companies, okay. So one step back.
Keep it a little brief.
Yeah. If you're a large company, you're selling the company. If you're a small company, you're selling yourself. They're buying it from you, right? If you're a startup, they're buying it from you. If you're working for IBM, for Airtel, they're buying it from Airtel and IBM. So the positioning is different. The sales cycle is different. To answer your question, there is no right answer. Don't take no for an answer. Keep at it. 6, 7 months, 8 months, 12 months, whatever it takes. B2B deals take time, but if you crack it, you have recurring revenue every year.
Thanks.
My co-founder is going to judge with me about this.
For the benefit of the audience. Yeah.
Yes. I think Soumik was quite right with that they're buying you if you're a smaller company. What matters again is to deliver the outcome in the shortest period, like give them a taste of the blood, and then scale from there on.
Yeah. So, the question was actually how do you choose a company? There are so many pitching at you. Should you look at the testimonials? Should you talk to the former students? Should you look at what has been the ROI? Those are the kind of things that I think she was trying to ask. Anyway, moving on. Are there any other? Yeah, this one. Yeah. Please introduce yourself, sir, and you can also say who you want to direct the question at.
Yeah, I am Deepan Mehta, a founder of Sugami. I've been an IIT Bombay alumni and in the industry for 25 years. Okay. My question to Zamindar sir, but I think others can also sort of answer. We have seen a huge, I have been an interviewer and recruiter, so I can sort of see the pain. We talk about so many people who are quite literally unemployable for a large number of years of colleges, but even for reasonably good colleges.
So can you keep it a little brief? You're a little
Yeah,
tired.
yeah. So the question is that while we have so many engineers available or so many graduates available across streams, why is it that repeatedly, and there is so much dearth of getting the recruitment right by the corporates. So for corporate it should have been super easy to get recruitment done, right? But that's not true. So while on one hand,
What is the question?
the question is, why does corporates do not repeatedly go and hire more fresh talent as opposed to really remain secluded in the sort of niche pool of
Got it.
established talent, and the new pool of talent still keeps looking
Okay.
at.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Having
since
a
we
work-
have 1 minute or less than it, so let me answer
We just
that.
have a minute, please. So
Yeah, so quality input, quality output. So if quality is low, the candidate or the graduate is unprepared for the market or the corporate world. And the corporate, if you are unprepared, no corporate, even though the numbers might be huge, no corporate would be ready to pick, and we discussed that, to train them, hire them, train them, go through the entire rigmarole, right? It's a luxury now. So the question is, how do we go beyond the curriculum to make ourselves ready so that the time to find you in a haystack of resumes and get you hired is shorter? The responsibility is with the student or the graduate, but I would say the bigger responsibility is with the colleges that make those 45-55% who are unfortunately unemployable. So that's something that needs to be solved for, right? It's still going on.
okay, so we are out of time. You can catch our esteemed panelists around. They can speak to you one-on-one. Please give them a rousing applause.